Tuesday, the 4th of February 2025, and the US market has just opened. Well, it's actually been open for 7 minutes. I'm just a bit late with the start for today, but that's fine because I'm firstly going to be interested in the completion of the second 5-minute bar in the Dow, and that is coming up. So I will be buying above it and selling below. This has been one of my better entries lately, and it's been making profit on most days. So I'm looking to take this entry mechanically. Those are the first 15-minute bar in the Nasdaq, once that completes, and the second 15-minute bar in the DAX, plus the fourth 15-minute bar in SPX, and then maybe the seventh 15-minute in the Nasdaq as well. These are all researched entries that have been doing really well lately. Also, the second 15-minute in gold is normally something I take here. So that's my list for today. The morning session was quite okay. Made a little bit of profit, around $50. And just waiting here for the second 5-minute bar to complete, and I will add orders above and below. About a 50-point bar. I can go a bit higher on the sizing. Gold had a nice breakout after I exited my trade, but that happens sometimes. I pretty much hit my target. I just closed it a bit earlier because of this previous sell-off. But with the add-on and everything, it was just a fine move. And according to plan, I think it's okay to place the orders now. We're very close to completing this candle, and there it is. Between a 5 and a 6-point cushion above and below, so as to pretty much avoid some of the near fills. So when we just go and equal the low or the high of the bar, we don't get filled in. Obviously, sometimes you will have bad fills. It's unavoidable with this type of trading, but generally you'll be okay. And even when you have a bad fill and a bad outcome, it's all part of a system and part of a plan, and this is why I don't risk more than 0.5% of the account on any given trade. With very few exceptions, if I have a setup that statistically I know is higher probability at that moment, and I will have that information available to me, and it will be based on real tangible data that I have gathered, then I might risk more, but that's quite rare. It actually happened in the morning session today. If you've watched that, if you haven't, you can go and watch it on my channel. But it was buying below the first 5-minute bar in the UK 100. Sadly, it did not work out. But that's fine. Still ended the day in the morning in profit. So, and even if we hadn't, it wouldn't have been a problem. It was all executed according to plan and managed risk properly. So I'll be waiting now for a fill in the Dow, while I also keep an eye on the Nasdaq for completion of the first 15-minute bar. It's a bit over 100 points right now, this first 15-minute bar. I really need it to be under 150, but even so, it's quite big. I will have to go a lower size, but let's see. I'll pause you and bring you back. So we have just gotten filled long in the Dow here. We went above, removing the short order and placing the stop right in its place. Let me just full screen this for a second so we can better see it. So risking $41. And for target, I do use targets generally. Sometimes I will not if I feel there are good chances of market going higher. I may not want to limit myself with a take profit, but for this particular entry, I am generally going to use a take profit, and it is going to be between 80 to 100 points. So let's just look at the structure here. This is 60 points. This is 80 points right here. So I'm going to go for 80 points, targeting $51, risking 41. Obviously, we have to invalidate this cell right here, this negative area right here, and we're kind of at the higher end of this ranging area here. But if we look at a higher time frame, we've been rallying for quite a bit. We had a bit of a pullback. This was more based on news and tariffs and trade wars, and now we're trying to recover. But if we look to the left, we're still in quite a bullish pattern. So we've filled the gap yesterday, then we retraced a bit. So we can easily see the market go back up here, even though we're closer to London highs here. We just need to close above it. But let's see, there is a bit of ranging happening now. Then we have a stop loss in place, so whatever happens, happens. First 15-minute bar has completed. It's gonna have to be lower size. But there you go. Just because it's quite a big bar, and my strategy does require me to then place the stop at the opposite end of where I get filled. So this is why I have to go with this sizing. And let's see what happens. Next up will be entries off the second 15-minute bars in gold and the DAX. So I will manage this position, wait for a fill here, and wait for these bars to complete. We might be getting stopped out here. That can happen sometimes. So just to give you an example, out of the last 14 trading days, this particular entry, the completion of the second 5-minute candle, and me placing orders above and below it, I made profit. Actually, it's easier to count when I haven't made profit. So 4 out of the 10 days were losses, and 1 day was a break even. So out of the last 14 days, 4 were a loss, 1 was break even, and 9 were wins. And the wins are ranging between 54 points the least and 180 points the most, but generally around 80-100 points made when the move worked. So you can simply do the math and see that the entry has been profitable, so it is in a period of profitability. My whole strategy is to find these type of mechanical entries and find cycles when they work more often than not, and when they basically start making a profit consistently over a decent period of time of at least a few weeks. And when I see that, and when it's an entry that I've researched before and I've seen it work and streak for a decent period of time before, as is this one, then I take it with confidence, and I take it almost every day unless the trigger bar is just too big. So it does look like there's a chance we get stopped out here. Nothing we could have done. We placed our entry where it was supposed to be, and we executed the trade. So if we get stopped out, it's completely fine. Let me just switch to the live P&L here so you can see it. And we got filled in something here. Yes, the Nasdaq long. So let me just delete the short order, placing the stop right there, risking 50. So for the Nasdaq, first 15-minute bar. Again, when we win. The least we've won is 60 points, and the most has been 100 points. So maybe not as much as in the Dow. So if I go for the minimum, which is 60 points, it would be here. It's not going to be enough. It's much less than a 1-to-1. So basically, kind of have to go for 100 points. But we are risking 1,300 points. We are risking 130 points. So that's a bit not ideal. But I think I will let it slide. Let's see what happens. I'll monitor it, and if we touch previous day high and start retracing, I might just move the stop quickly to break even and just let it do its thing. And if it hits, it hits. It's not the best entry, just because generally I do try to have at least a 1-to-1 R&R. And in this case, my research and even the structure doesn't really favor targeting more than 100 points here. Now, you could always be wrong, and you can have a move here that, hell, goes all the way up here. But I'm just basing my targets on what has recently happened, plus on how the structure looks. So I try to come up with an appropriate target. And this is the appropriate target for this move right now. We almost got stopped out here, but not quite. This is why using the cushion for the stop loss is also quite important. It will sometimes get you out of trouble. Not all the time, of course, but enough that it matters and that it's profitable to use the cushion. And I have a specific cushion for every index that I trade. I have 5 to 6 points for the Dow and the Nasdaq. I have 2.5 to 3 points in the DAX. I have 1.5 points in the UK 100, 1.5 points in SPX, and finally 0.5 points in gold. So those are my cushions. Nice reaction from the lows here. We might just be getting super lucky here to not get stopped out. Let me just go to the minute time frame. I mean, that was, you cannot possibly get any closer than that. We were like literally one tick away from getting stopped out. But it won't matter if we don't win now. So let's see. It's definitely what you want to see, a reaction from the lows here. Complete rejection of the lows means that we're likely to move higher now. So it does give me confidence, but immediately we're starting to retrace again. So I'll just let these play out, and I'll bring you back if I get stopped out or if we have any type of development here. And we're 6 minutes away from completing the second 15-minute candles, so I'll see you then. Okay, so just wanted to bring you back here. We're still a few minutes away from completing the second 15-minute bars, but I'm gonna follow up on what I said about moving the stop loss here. I'm not gonna go quite to break even here, because to break even, it's still really quite close, and it's a high probability we get stopped out for nothing. But I will go somewhere around here. So let's just cut the risk in half. Risk 25. And be a bit more aggressive with the stop loss here. Because I do think that if we can't break through this resistance, we're likely to retrace back into London range. And once we close there, we're probably going lower. So there's no reason to lose the entire amount, I think. We'll see now. This is the moment of truth. There's obviously going to be some selling pressure. You'll have some scalpers try to short here for a few ticks. And you might see even a larger reaction, because previous day high and previous day low are always important levels. This is why I have them on my charts at all time. And the squares represent the previous trading sessions. Blue is Asia session, yellow is London session, and green is New York session. And it looks like we are once again going lower in the Dow. So this isn't the type of price action you want to see when you do one of these mechanical entries. It's quite rare to see this type of price action. So we're basically, after the second 5-minute candle, we've just ranged here for quite a lot. We've stayed in this range and just basically ping-ponged between these two levels, which are basically my entry and my exit. But my exit is definitely well chosen, as you've seen. I escaped it twice now. So there's a decent chance we managed to break out here, but it's gonna have to be now, because I think another move down and the support is not going to hold. Let me just quickly check if we have any news coming out here. Oh, we do. So yeah, market was waiting for some news, and there it is. Jolts came in negative, so less than expected, which generally should be good for us here. Just hoping here that the initial reaction just takes us to TP and the Nasdaq. So we've kind of double topped in the Dow, and we're trying to retrace again. It might not be our day in the Dow, which is fine. And we've just completed the second 15-minute. And this means it's a long in gold here. Let me just quickly, 4-point bar. It is a long because we've broken the bar to the upside. Place the stop in its place. We're risking 40 here. And I will be going for a target of, drum roll please, so 10 points, 10 points, 7 points, 6 points. Okay, now let's look at the structure. I mean, what structure? Because we're at all-time highs. So considering we're at all-time highs here, I'm gonna go for something ambitious and just target 10 points. Or close to 10 points. Let's target $75. So risking 38 here to make 75. It's pretty much a 2-to-1. Because this news that came out is supportive of our entries here. We definitely got lucky a few times not to have this stop hit, but at the same time, like I said, the stops are calculated and are following the strategy. So 5-6 points under the trigger bar, which was the second 5-minute bar. This keeps you out of trouble most of the time. Obviously not all the time. And we should also be long the DAX here. But obviously I missed that entry because I was focusing on placing the gold. I was caught a bit by surprise. This is what happens when you try to also record a video while you're trading, and I'm still getting used to it, although I've already posted quite a bit and been doing this for a few weeks where I trade and record and talk at the same time. I'm not going to enter now. You could say that, well, you would be in a bit of a loss here. You might be tempted to get in here at a better price. Let me just check 500. So this would be a 43-point bar. This would be my size. Now I would like to see some sort of positive reaction here off one of these positive bars to also go long the DAX here. I do have 3 long positions, however, 1 in the Dow, 1 in the Nasdaq, and 1 in gold. And I have to say I'm not really enamored with the fact that the Dow is kind of double topping here. Like I said, if we make another swipe at the lows here, it's not gonna hold, but I'm not gonna move the stop, obviously. So perfect double top here. Let's just hope there's demand now. I mean, everything is supportive of the market going higher here. The news favors this. So yeah, I'll just stay patient here. Gold is retracing now a bit. That's fine. It might look a bit bad, you would say, or not ideal to go long after something has been so bullish and rallying for so much, but I have a clear strategy and I have an entry model, and this entry is profitable and it got triggered, so I got filled in. And I am going to take it because that's the meaning of a mechanical entry. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but a lot of the times you will see the market keep rallying and you'll be like, oh, if only I had an entry model to get in to catch some of that move, but I didn't get a retrace, or whatever your usual model is, you don't get a retrace and you don't enter. But with this type of mechanical entry, you won't really miss out when the market breaks out and rallies, which is really nice. And you can find entries even after a good part of that rally. So this is why I like it. And obviously sometimes it won't work, and if it doesn't work here, that is completely fine. But I would rather take it and lose than not take it because I'm afraid, or I look at the structure and I'm like, oh, it's rallied too much, it can't possibly rally anymore. And then I see it rally and I miss out just because I was afraid to enter. So that is why the mechanical entries kind of take all that guesswork off the table. I will still refuse some entries sometimes, but mostly I will refuse them if the entry bar is too large. And that is a technical reason why I refuse the entry. So there is a good reason behind it, because the entry stops being profitable. But in this situation, there's no reason not to take it. So that was the reason. And for the DAX, I didn't take it because I simply missed it. I would be long now in the DAX, and my stop would be below this bar. So we will see if I'm lucky here to avoid an entry that would have gotten me stopped out. But at the same time, I'll also miss some entries sometimes, and price would have gone in my direction. So everything evens out in time. I'll be patient here as always. We're getting close to TP in the Nasdaq. I am not going to increase the TP in the Nasdaq. This would be already on the higher range of the amount of points I make on this particular entry. Now, like I said, the news might be supportive. We might be going even higher. That's fine. I am happy to just get a win if that's the case here. So let's see. Still a few points off. I do hope that I don't have a situation like with gold today where we almost hit TP. So we're 11 points away now. We almost hit TP, but then the market did a big retrace. So my TP was like literally here at 28.20, and we went to 28.19. And I need like 2 points here in the Nasdaq. Okay, I'll just close it manually because it's almost there. So to avoid any more shenanigans. And now I can just focus on letting the others run. My next entry will be the fourth 15-minute bar in SPX unless it's a huge bar. And I'm also going to look at the seventh 15-minute bar in the Nasdaq. This is also an entry that I've taken a lot in the past, and then it's cooled off a bit, but now it's starting to be profitable again, as shown by my research. So let's see. That was attempting to break out here. I'll move you back to the live PNL. So hopefully this move continues. And the DAX is also looking to have had some reaction here. So I can go long now, in my opinion. Let me just move back to the 15-minute time frame. My stop would be somewhere around here. So I'm now risking 31. So I've definitely saved some money because I've entered lower. But I entered when I saw some positive reaction. Now if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'm going to target the top here. So targeting $52, risking 31. Let's see what happens. Kind of betting now on this bar, pretty much holding this bar here. And we almost hit TP in the Dow and just missed out. You could say this is unlucky, but I mean, look at the other extremity. We got lucky here to hit without getting filled on the stop. And now we're not getting filled on the long. I'll give it a few more seconds, but I'm probably going to just close this manually as well. Come on, one more attempt. Give us one more attempt. No. Because as it stands, we've kind of rated the high of London session now, and we're trying to go back down. Hopefully some demand steps in here and we take another stab at it. Because this is exactly what happened in gold earlier. We almost touched the TP and then we just went down without any chance at getting out manually. Okay, so I'll do this. I will place the stop at break even now. And if we just reverse all the way, then I can still say I was lucky not to get stopped out here. And that luck evened out. Oh, nice reaction here. Okay, let's just exit because this price action is a bit weird. Okay, how much did we get? What? Is that a mistake? There's no way that's just $18. What? Just happened. Did I get some sort of weird slippage here? Because I certainly did not exit here. That's weird. I'm gonna have to watch that back. That seems sketchy to me. But definitely some weird price action. Anyway, kind of. So I pressed it when it was like $38. And it's showing $18 profit. FTMO, what's happening? I think I might have just gotten very unlucky and the price just went down really quickly as the order went through. This is why I generally avoid to close manually, but I've rarely seen something as bad as that. Okay, whatever. It's still some profit. But yeah, a bit weird, I have to say. That was not something you see every day. So we kind of avoided a stop here. Trying to go back up, let's see. The DAX does seem kind of the weakest now of them all, and this formation here where on the 15-minute we raided the top and then closed back into the range is quite bearish, quite a bearish signal for the DAX. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes, but I might actually be closing this one early. The reason being that this now is actually a short setup. Not a mechanical one, but a different one that I've researched a lot. Not one that I take that often, but I do take it seriously when I see such a good example of it. So we have price going above London session, raiding all those stops, and then immediately retracing and closing on a bearish bar on the 15-minute time frame. So generally it is a sell trigger for me, and I would sell at the completion of the bar. I would sell right here, and I would place the stop right above. And I would not be expecting price to go back and revisit that top. So, just considering what to do here. Because on one side, I do trust the mechanical entry. So the mechanical entry is showing profit consistently on this entry for more than the past 14 trading days. This has been a really good entry. But at the same time, this close back into London range after we rated the top is quite bearish. We're at halfway towards getting stopped, so I would be saving some money, but not that much. I think I'm gonna give it a chance to succeed. And if I get stopped out, it's still just $31, so I'm still saving money because I missed my original entry and then entered manually on a retrace. So I think generally when you don't know what to do, when you are uncertain of what to do, my advice and what I've learned with time and experience is that it's better to do nothing. So if you're uncertain, do nothing. Even when you're in a trade, if you're uncertain, do nothing, let it run and see what happens. Now here we would be probably hitting TP. It's actually a bit unfortunate what happened in this trade, because the exit really is not where I wanted to exit, so I just saw price starting to do some weird movements. And I'm starting to think that probably didn't get unlucky. Price was here, but then the graphics messed up a bit, and it showed price going back up, and I exited, but yeah, a bit weird, can happen sometimes, so probably the thing to do was as well to not do anything. So a good example there. I should have not done anything. So I'll let these play out. We've started to form the fourth 15-minute bar here in the SPX. 10 minutes until that is complete. And we've moved back up into profit here in the DAX. So I'll let things run and run their course. And I'll pause you for now and bring you back. Okay, so we did get stopped out in the DAX. It was not meant to be. Like I said, this move here where you go above London session and then reverse and close on the 15-minute back into the range is quite a strong trigger. But still, I think it was worth a shot because the mechanical trigger was there. And I missed it, and I could get in on a better price when I saw some sort of reaction. So if this held, could have gotten a nice move, but it wasn't meant to be. So we'll now focus on managing the gold trade and also waiting for the fourth 15-minute bar to complete. It is 20 seconds away, so this isn't that large of a bar. Let me just see here, 60-30, it's just a 7-point bar. Could actually go a bit higher here. Let's go 4.3 per point. Okay, we have our fill. So the stop is right above it, like a point and a half. Let's go like that, risking 44. And now, considering we've almost matched previous day high and have gotten filled short here, let me quickly check. In short entries, I've made 13 points, 23 points, 18 points on this move. So let's see, this is 10 points right here. So I think this area here, 12.5 points, is a decent enough target. So we are risking 44 to make 53. And gold is marching on. Let's see. I do realize that obviously I'm shorting here. And we've been quite bullish, but again, it's a mechanical entry, it's super researched. If we just go below the bar here and rally and get stopped out, that's just unfortunate, but that will happen sometimes. I executed the entry well, so it's out of my hands now. And we'll let things run. And I'm also going to wait for the 7 15-minute bar in the Nasdaq. That will be the last entry for the day. Obviously, I'm going to have to wait around 45 more minutes until we have the completion of that bar. So now I will just pause and wait for something to happen. We might get stopped out here. We might move towards TP. I'll bring you back when something happens. Otherwise, I will just wait until we get to the 7 15-minute bar. And it's appearing like it's going to be a sad end to the day here. Gold has just reversed, quite a hard reversal here, and stopped me out, so that's fine. And SPX looks like it's going to stop me out as well, which is unfortunate. We're going to be back at square one. But again, that happens sometimes. Do not ever let it affect you. Do not let it make you want a revenge trade. This is actually a good lesson right here. This can happen. Just like that, 3 losses in a row. All on planned entries and on prepared entries and executed well. But we get in a 3 losing streak here after 4 wins. And this is still a bit annoying because this should have been $20 higher. I'm gonna watch that back once I compile the video. But yeah. So I have one more entry for the day. It's gonna either take us into profit or change the day completely to a losing day. But I will wait for the completion of the 7th 15-minute bar in the Nasdaq, and I will bring you back for that. So I am bringing you back here. We're almost at the completion of the 7 15-minute candle in the Nasdaq, so I've placed the buy order above. And now the sell order below. So just gonna wait for a fill now, and it's gonna be the last trade. I've adjusted the sizing. It's like it's under a 40-point bar, so this is gonna be a decent sizing. Hopefully we can get a winner here on this particular entry. I am looking at, let's check very quickly. So at the least 50 points, at most 160. The average would be around 90 points when it works. So let's see. I could also let it run in this circumstance, because we've broken out of previous day range, so we could try to make an attempt to go quite higher here if we get filled long, and if we get filled short, I'll assess then. I might just fix a TP for that. But yeah, this will be the last trade of the day. So a bit of an unfortunate ending here. Regardless of what happens though, I just want to reiterate that I'm very happy with the execution. And this is actually a very important lesson that we need to take. Had I gotten tilted after losing these 3 trades in a row and transforming what was a nice winning day into a 0 day so far, and in quite a short amount of time here, and it took 30 minutes to turn the day on its head. But that will happen, and it will happen a lot when you day trade and when you take so many trades per day. And even when you don't take so many trades, you're still going to have bad runs. So this is where we can make the difference by not going to attempt to make the money back. Not revenge trade. Do not seek to enter trades just to be in positions, just because you're upset that you lost money. You have to keep thinking about the long-term goals and understanding that your strategy, whatever strategy it is, it plays out over a period of time. So if you've executed everything well, then that is part of the plan. That is like a casino losing on 3 consecutive roulette spins, where a gambler gets super lucky and he hits 3 times in a row and leaves. And the casino is losing money over that period of time. Maybe it's losing money on any given day. They don't go and change their games. They don't adjust their payouts. They know that they have a winning system. So as long as they get players on the table and more spins, they will make that back because they have a winning system. So this is exactly the case for us. We have a winning system, so it doesn't matter that we have 3 losses in a row. Just like it didn't matter that we had 4 wins in a row, or whatever happened before. You'll go on good runs, you'll go on bad runs, but always remember that you have an edge over time. So for that edge to play out, you really need to control yourself and not fall prey to FOMO and not fall prey to revenge trading and try to make something happen because you're down on the day. You can perhaps be a bit more aggressive with some of the setups that you see or have planned. So I could perhaps go even higher sizing here. And I think that would be fine as long as I have data to back it up. And I have gone a bit higher on sizing here because the trigger bar won't be as big, so the stop will be below 0.5%. I could have gone even a bit higher. I'm going to be under 0.5%. But this isn't a mistake. This isn't me chasing losses. This is me placing a trade within my rules and my plan. Whereas, say I decided to short gold here when I got stopped out and reverse. Say, okay, I got stopped out, we're probably gonna sell now, and I just wanna make my money back, and I just enter short here, and then we start reversing again. So now I'm twice as upset because I've lost mechanical trade and I've lost this manual trade. And now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna dig an even deeper hole, and when you do that, you very rarely win. And when you win, that win is poisoned. because it is not a win that came from your plan. So if you keep doing that, eventually you'll get burned. And the only thing you'll accomplish is developing a bad habit. And bad habits take quite a while to weed out. So don't do it. Stay true to your plan. If you've done your research, if you know you have an edge, over time, just keep executing and whatever happens, happens. So that's what I wanted to say, a very important lesson. I'll let this play out and see what happens and bring you back. So we have gotten filled long here. I deleted the short order and placed the stop where the short order used to be. And honestly, in terms of target, it's a bit of a difficult one. Let's just see where 100 points takes us. Right above this bar. Let's just go right below this wick. And yeah, I'll target that. Market looks decently strong, but let's see. As I say this, we're pulling back a little bit. But let's see. We are well above London session in most indices now. Even in the DAX, we are going back. So a bit of an unlucky exit overall. We just went below the opening bars and then reversed. And same with the SPX trade as well. Just filled this short and then reversed. So that can happen. Yeah, like I said, I executed very well. I'm very happy with the execution, and sometimes you'll just get unlucky or you'll get into a run of trades that don't work out. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong necessarily, and it likely means you've done nothing wrong if you've completely respected your plan. So this is just all part of the normal life of a trader. You really need to understand this if you are to ever pass a challenge or become profitable. This right here is where you actually become a winner. It's when you just accept that your entries haven't worked out. They were good. You did everything fine, but they just didn't work out. And instead of trying to make it back, you just accept that and you move on to the next day and you try to do your best again, and so on. And you will see that over time, it will start to become habit and you won't really care that much when stuff like this happens. Obviously, I like to win. I am disappointed that I've had 3 losses in a row. You know, maybe even a bit annoyed sometimes, because of course you can get unlucky. I don't think I've gotten terribly unlucky today. I've actually gotten lucky here to not get stopped out in the Dow, and then unlucky with the exit, but that's a different discussion altogether. So don't blame bad luck, don't blame the markets, don't blame stop hunting. Just look at your strategy, understand what you're doing, understand what your edge is, and if you do have an edge, then just keep applying it religiously. Take all the trades that you're supposed to take. Even when the market has been rallying for a while, don't be afraid to keep going long if your setup is telling you to go long. And see what happens. Now if you get stopped out here as well, we're gonna end the day on a $50 loss. That's perfectly fine. And we will go again tomorrow. So I'll pause you now and we'll bring you back when we're closer to a resolution. But if this requires a lot of time, I will just end the session, but I'll give it like 20 minutes and see what happens. Okay, so waited like half an hour. We're not looking particularly well. So I do expect this to get stopped out as well. We're at halfway, but I'll let it run, and whatever happens, happens. I will show you tomorrow, because I do have to leave now, so that's enough for this session, I think. I think I've executed my plan very well, and I'm happy, very happy with that. Not that happy with the outcome, but like I said, not much you can do. However, I do think that seeing this can help you a lot. And I do believe that this is where the difference is made between winning traders and losing traders. It's simply accepting that you have lost on your planned, on your practiced entries, on your core setups. It happens, and you just have to accept it and move on, and there'll be better days ahead. So with that in mind, I will end this video here. If you like the video, please like. If you enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow. We are getting close to getting stopped out here, but I'll let it play out, and we'll see what happens. Gonna be a bit down on the day overall, but nothing too special. So thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.